Today, we're putting on our second coat on a bench with Linnea, and I'm using the all-natural sea sponge to put it on. I'm putting my paint into a little paper plate tray, and I'm getting my sponge loaded with paint. You should also have a bucket of water handy, a towel, and a little brush. So let's go over here and look at my bench that I've done so far. This is the first coat of Sophia, and I've put Linnea on the back, and now I'm going to show you how I would do it here. What I love about using the sea sponge is it's so easy to get into all these little things that are hard to paint. When you're painting with a brush, you can just take your finger and push it in those crevices. And so you put it on in kind of a swiping motion like this, and don't worry so much about it right now. Just get your color on. And now what you're going to do is I might want to get more in the crevices, so I'm going to just kind of use my finger to get the size of this. And now what I'm going to do is use a technique where I'm kind of rolling the sponge. I'm also going to turn it over and remove a little bit of paint here and there, like this. I'm going to come up over here. Now, you know, if you just do this, it's going to look like you sponged it. So you just want to, do you see the technique of rolling the sponge? Rolling it and softening it. And then you can do a little dragging motion, if you like. And then it looks you can't tell how someone did it, because you've got a combination of dragging and lightly sponging. See how pretty that looks? And so I'm just lightly dragging over top. And then I'll come back and finesse it again. So now I'm going to come down here, and I already did my other side, so I have some paint that's coming over from the other side, which is good, and I can still work on it. So now let's say I want this lighter, and I know I have a lot of paint on my sponge right now. So I'm going to take my sponge, follow me, and I'm going to come over here and dip it in the water and get rid of some of that excess paint. Dab it on a rag. Now I can come over here and manipulate it more easily, because I'm really not putting any more paint on. I'm just moving it around. In fact, you can even remove some paint with the other side, just very gently. You see, because this side doesn't have as much paint as this side, so if I rub with this side, I can remove some paint and make it look layered, almost distressed, but we're not using any wet scrubby sponges or anything. We're just using our sea sponge. And it takes practice, but you can't be afraid. Be creative. Let your sponge be your tool. Step back and look at it and say, okay, so right here I don't really like that because it looks too spongy, so I'm going to drag a little bit, and then I'll just come and touch it with a little bit of the sponge, just so it's subtle, see? And up here, I don't like what I just did, so I'm going to drag it some more and just kind of work around it and see if I like that. And I can always come back and drag it a little more. Then I'm going to work on the side. You know, I want it to look mottled and aged. Now I have to work on this centerpiece. And the only other thing I want to point out to you is have a little brush handy so you can get into some of these places that your sea sponge can't. And we'll come back later.